Hello, welcome back to Bridging the Gap. My name is David James. We are here with Bridging the Gap. We are a local producer. We are not part of PAC 14. We use this platform to bring forth information, but once again, the information we bring forth is not the thought and feeling of PAC 14. We do appreciate them allowing us to use this as our avenue of bringing forth information, and we hope you enjoy. All right, welcome back to Bridging the Gap. We're here with Bishop Dickerson from the Christian Shelter.
Yes, sir.
Bishop?
Thank you for having me, sir.
Yes, this time I get to interview you.
Yes.
Got an opportunity to take part in the conversation on the bench with Bishop Dickerson, and why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Well, this is something new, a new initiative that we started because we're a member of the Citygate Network. So being that we were part of the Citygate Network, it's a nationwide initiative called Conversation on the Bench, held October the 9th and the 10th. And this past 9th and 10th, we had the opportunity to sit on the bench. 24 hours to sit on the bench to basically to bring awareness to homelessness. Homelessness is a serious problem, and I think that we're putting homelessness on the back burner.
Yeah.
This is just my opinion, but we're not serious about homelessness. I think we can do more about homelessness. So I thought I took it upon myself to sit upon the bench to interview several officials of the city. I had the chance to interview the mayor. I had the chance to interview Councilwoman April Jackson. I had the opportunity to interview Delegate Cherie Hughes Sample Hughes. Amen. I was able to interview them, and they gave us some good observations of what they feel about homelessness. And I also had to interview you and your wife, which was a wonderful experience. Both of my daughters were on, and they did it. Well, listen, they did a phenomenal job. So they have a lot to offer. And then we had then on Friday, Sister Mary interviewed some of our guests, and so. Some of the things that I experienced in the middle of the night, I was cold, I was lonely, I was shaken, I was literally in pain, and this is just 24 hours. So you can imagine what someone that has to spend the night every night under the bridge, trying to make ends meet, trying to keep warm, and so forth. And so the takeaway that I got from it is it was a life-changing experience. It changed my whole perception about homelessness, and it makes me want to advocate for the homeless even on a greater level than I'm doing now. I thought I was doing something as executive director of the Christian Shelter, but I got fight in me, and I'm going to help make some things happen in our community.
And I do appreciate the burden and just the drive you have for the lost. I was just talking to you before we went on the air, and you've been in ministry since you were 16.
16, yeah. So
loving people, this didn't just happen.
No.
You know, and you know, for you to actually just extend yourself to that next, because it's easy for you as the director to say, "Hey, can you go out there?" But you went out there yourself, and I applaud you. And your daughters, man, they had that same passion. That's the fruit don't fall too far from the tree there, you know. While I was out there talking to you, a couple of things you brought up that really stuck with me, and one of them is the fact of there's not enough being done, you know.
No.
You know, can you kind of elaborate on that?
What we have ahead of us is a community issue, and it's going to take a whole village to resolve problems. And I think we could come together and create a greater impact than just us by doing things separately. You know, I think on this one. The city and the county should come together No man is an island, and no man stands alone. And so we ought to come together and tackle this monster, because, as I say, we can do it better when we do it together. We got to do it together. We've got to. If we can come together and get these landlords to put a cap on their rental properties, I think I do understand, and I hope they're listening to me. I understand, Mr. Mayor, and I understand, Mr. John, that you guys are landlords. Why don't you guys take the lead role? Take the lead role in lowering these prices and not create a monster of rental properties where our people cannot afford it. They have to make 3 times the rate that they live in. Nobody is hiring on that level unless you have a degree, a master's or a doctorate. And then I understand you have your trades, but sometimes your trades don't even pay that much. Come on, guys, get together, talk. Says, hey, look, what can we do to take the lead role? Yeah, and I'm saying this in love. I'm not saying this out of anger. I'm not saying this out of anger. I want you to hear my heart, and I hope you hear this. We can do more. We can do more if we just come together and tackle these community problems.
Now, you mentioned Mayor Randy Taylor, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, you say John, you're talking about
John Cannon,
the council president, the county council president,
right,
which both of them are in real estate. And I was thinking about this, and at least in one other elected official, maybe while we're working on this, because it's not going to just be this setting, we're going to try to reach out. Well, the name of this show is Bridging the Gap. And that's what we want to do. We want to bridge that gap. And we want to get these people on here. And it's not to embarrass anybody.
No.
It's to work towards a solution. We are stronger together, and I always like to say that you can't spell community without unity. So these are some really things that are going on that we definitely want to kind of tackle. My wife and I, we do some volunteering over at the Christian Shelter, and we notice that homeless is not just those that are upper in age or, people or families falling bad. Well, there's a young man there. I'm not saying any names, but he's a college kid, actually.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely.
He's actually trying to he's going to be getting deployed to go off to the Marine Corps, but in the meantime, he can't pay for rent. He's at the Christian Shelter because of this, and that is definitely a concern. Now, speaking to some of the elected officials, which we're starting off our little series here with an elected official, which this one actually already has a burden. But talking to the elected officials, did you feel like there was what you were saying was going on deaf ears? Were they really listening?
I think I can't answer it wholeheartedly, but I think a couple of them, they have the heart of the community. They have the heart of the community.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. A couple of them that I talked to, they have, and again, they can't do it by themselves.
No.
It's going to take a joint effort.
Sure.
To make things happen, and I think we can tackle this monster. I think. I know they're having a big discrepancy about should they have rails where the guests sleep under the bridge. And so the thing is, the answer, the thing that I say, do you care about people? Do you really care about people? If you don't care about people, because it's only a one step away from being in the water. Come on, listen, let me tell you something. The city finds money for everything else. And they can find money to put a rail around there so our families can be safe. Come on.
I agree with you.
They find money for everything else that they want to do.
And I also believe that if they really want to find a solution to the rental problem, everybody says there's a rental problem.
Right.
But I don't hear too many people talking about a solution to this.
Right.
So if they really wanted to solve it, would they? You know, I heard someone say at the last council meeting, the county council meeting, people were out there, they were outraged by 287G, they were outraged by different things. This one guy just stood at the door, never sat down, and then towards the end, he never went up to the podium. He just said a simple question. He looked at the council and said, "Do you care?" I mean, we hear people out here talking, but do you really care?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if they don't care, then they're not going to respond.
No.
You know? My concern is when we're talking about the fact of those that are without homes, I'm wondering, do a lot of these elected officials care because they think that they don't vote?
Before I tackle that, I remember I looked at a TV show. I don't know the name of it, but it was about a landlord. He had all these slum houses, and they took him to court, and they won. They had, and there was in his house. It was all kinds of rats, roaches, and you know, in the city they got rats as big as cats, and so he was sentenced. To live in one of his houses. That was the sentence. The sentence was for him to live in, and he could not live in his own house.
Wow.
And it was a life-changing experience.
Wow. You know, and I want to, we're going to go to our next segment and bring Council Lady Jackson in, but I want to say this because, you know, now to God be the glory, my wife and I, we own a house, but there was a time in my life, up until maybe 2 years ago, that I rented.
Yeah.
And I remember renting from one very well-known, I'm not going to say their name, landlord here that has 700 plus properties, probably nationwide. And, you know, the smell of the roaches, you could actually smell, there were so many roaches in that apartment building.
Wow.
You could smell it. You know, now maybe that apartment, then when I first rented, I didn't see any because they probably sprayed. But within weeks, they were back there. But yet, soon as the rent was due, if you were about a week or two over, you had a little slip on the door. You know, but they never took care of the problem. The question is, do they have when one person leaves, do they actually take care of these properties? Do they paint it? Do they take care of the maintenance of it? Because the rent doesn't change. There's people getting one-bedroom houses. How much are they paying now? You said some of them about up to $1,000?
Yeah, probably about $1,300 for a one-bedroom.
And the question is it based upon the quality of the house? Because if it was like this one is, and again, we're talking about a landlord that has multiple places. And you can always tell by one person's house how their life is. So how about that landlord? If one apartment or many apartments, because it's not just that one apartment that was like that. You know, at that time I didn't have the money to have too many different options, such as a lot of people are, you know. But you could tell because there are certain landlords that when you mention their name, somebody already tell you about their reputation. But yet their prices of their apartments does not reflect the environment, you know.
Right. And their houses are probably built in 1946.
Still got lead.
And they're just patching it up just to approve the housing laws and policies. Come on, man. We got to do better, Salisbury. You know, we got to do better because I'm gonna tell you why we have to do better. Because one day you're going to die. And you're going to have to stand before just God. And he's going to judge you according to your works.
So true.
Including how you treat people. Okay? So you just the thing is, you may be having the time now. And you may be having your day now. But one day, we're coming to your funeral. Yeah? Yeah. So you got to be careful how you treat people. Because you never know. My grandmother said you never know who you need when you leave this world. Yeah.
I love the boldness that you have.
Yeah.
I love that. that. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we're going to have Council Lady Jackson. And don't think she's going to take any slack on you either. Stay tuned. This is Bridging the Gap. We are back, and we are joined with my better three quarters, Keisha.
Hi.
And we're also joined by Councilwoman April Jackson.
Hey, Thank you.
Welcome, both of you. We're continuing to talk about the housing situation and concern that we have here, not only in Salisbury, but in Wycomico. I was just talking to Council Lady Jackson a while ago, and she emphasized the fact that a lot of times they come to the city, people come to the city because of the housing crisis. And go ahead and tell us what you said about that.
Oh, well, what I did say was most of the housing, affordable housing, is in the city. And I think, and I always say it, the county should have a responsibility to housing as well. It shouldn't be just left on the city. And it seems like all the residents and the citizens of Salisbury, it's always thrown at the city, but not at the county. And I said, take these meetings to the county. The same thing that applies for the city should apply for the county. Housing is housing, and they have more space than we do. The county is much larger than the city of Salisbury.
Right.
So you have more room to vitalize and utilize your communities that we do have, and put housing there.
Thank you. Now, how many subsidized areas is there outside of city limits right now?
I only know of probably one or two places, and that would be Westbrook Commons, and I think they're tax credit properties, and East Road Apartments. I don't know if they call it West Road or East Road. It's on the East Road.
I think it's East Road Apartments.
Apartments, and I think they are somewhat subsidized. They may as well be a tax credit apartment, but if you have Section 8, you can get in them. It's easier for you to get in if you have Section 8 too. Yeah.
Interesting. I know Bishop Dickerson and I have been talking about here lately about maybe going down Nanticoke Road with some of the housing, like you have Poplar Hill out there that hasn't been utilized. And, you can only put so much in the city limits. And we're not talking about putting people out there that don't have jobs or anything. We just need people to have more, of an opportunity to and be able to afford where they're living at.
Well, the ones that are on Stone Grove, that are on Booth Street, where the old Booth Street projects used to be.
Oh, yeah, they're pretty.
They were supposed to build 2 parts to that. But the government said no. Move it out there on Merritt Mill Road. Because, for one thing, everybody doesn't want to live here, and all federally funded housing shouldn't be in the same communities. So that's how that got out there. Because, okay, just like for me, suppose I just don't want to live in the direct city, where I'm living at right now. Suppose I chose to move to out there. I mean, and I'm not going to say a nicer development, because Westbrook Commons is a nice development. It's very well kept and everything. But what I'm saying is, you might want a different atmosphere. Right. The atmosphere may be a little different. It may be a change. Some people do need that change. So I'm saying this to say, it was required to have 2, and I think they are going to do the 2, the next one, but I just don't know when it's going to be done. But the desire is to do it, the second half.
Thank you. I'm seeing a lot of things coming up over there by the new sheriff's office. I wonder if they're going to consider maybe making a lower income housing place over there.
That's industrial.
That's industrial.
That's industrial area. So no housing is probably going there. But I do know there are some housing going in where off Queen Anne.
Okay.
There's some housing going there, and I can't remember where the other place I saw where housing was getting ready to be built. But I know Queen Anne is one of those areas. Now, whether it's going to be affordable or not, I'm not for sure. But I can remember one time my father said to our church, because we owned a lot of that land behind our church, he said, why don't y'all build houses for people, affordable housing for people? And they chose not to do it. And that would have been a way of revenue for them, bringing in money and helping the community at the same time. And that's what we have to get a mindset for. We need to be able to help. To me, it's like we're doing more hindrance than we are doing the help. And those 2 H's, you have to get rid of one and use the other one. And that's help. Stop. We stabilize everything. We don't come together on anything. And I think the government of this particular city and of this county should be working together for the better good of our community. This homelessness is exhausting. It's hurtful to see so many people in that little, what they call the berry. It is so hard. It's heartless that we allow people to live like this, and know some people will probably say, well, we're not allowing them to live like this. Yes, you are, when we can do better. By
Exactly.
them.
Wow.
You can't even rent a house. Apartment. It's enormous. We don't even make that kind of money around here.
Wow.
The money's not being made.
Right.
This sounds like definitely what Bishop was just saying a few minutes ago. Let me ask you this question, Council Lady Jackson. The old mall lot, is that city? That's considered city, correct? Have you heard of any plans to do anything with that?
Well, they came in, and the people who wanted to do it wanted a TIF. And we're totally against that TIF. I know I was totally against it because I don't know if it would regulate anything or anything would transpire from it. But years ago, they were going to put some affordable housing out there, and the people from the community didn't want it because it would bring down their value of their homes.
Wow.
Yeah. They were going to. And they said we'd bring down the value. And this is what I'm saying. You complain about the homeless.
Wow.
Right.
Did not know that.
Yeah, you complain about the homelessness, but you're doing nothing to help it.
Wow.
I can say out of 100%, I know 90% do not want to be homeless. Of the homeless, they choose not to be homeless. But like you said, what can you do if your money is not compatible with the rent?
Right.
It takes more than one person to pay the rent. It takes 3 people actually to pay bills in a house. And they have to have great, I'm serious. They have to have great jobs. And I had to come to the realization that I had to learn how to become not only stable, but have my mindset to where I had to make sure my money, stop overspending, stop. I had to make some changes in my life where I'm a shopper. I love to shop. I do. I love to shop. I had to stop it. I had to actually, I was going to the grocery store every day of the week. I was going clothes shopping 2 and 3 times a week. And I had to realize, look, you got to learn how to budget. You got to learn how to make things work for you. And some of the things that you have in your home or your apartment, you need to, like cable and all that stuff, downsize some things. I had to learn how to do that. And I'm doing it more and more and more because you don't have any reserve.
Right.
There is no money left over.
I mean, apartments, 1-bedroom apartments are $1,000 a month. How is a single person going to be able to afford that?
You're just working to pay somebody else.
Unfortunately, my son, I put him in, he went and was living over there on Beekland Park in one of the apartments over there. $1,000 a month, he had to come back home. He was single, He didn't have anybody living with him to help him out. He was trying. And I'm like, okay, well, you had no choice but to come back home. It's hard out there.
And then they make it even harder on fathers who have gone to prison and have felonies.
Wow.
Okay? This is something that needs to stop too. We need to do a better job with this. And I remember telling Bishop this long time ago when we had a Wycomico County Partners and Families at Reverend Anna Cathedral Love. It's been some years ago. And I said, how do we expect for the fathers to be in the children's life when they can't be around them like anything? I mean, I'm not saying all fathers would love to be with their kids. I can't say that. But for the ones who want to, stop stigmatizing them and stop making them feel like they're less than because they went to prison. Give them a chance.
Right.
People are apt to change. I changed.
Right.
We've all made some changes.
Still God's child.
Yes.
No matter what.
So because they have a felony, you can't live in a subsidized house at all.
Wow.
Can't go on the lease. I'm not gonna say they can't live in there, but you won't go on that lease. And if you're caught in there, or even if you're caught using that address, the person who the lease owner is, they're gonna get put out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And see, this is a lot of stuff
Wow.
that I'm
So they even make it hard for someone to help someone else. I don't think that's fair, but unfortunately, that's where we're living right now. These times are hard on everyone.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
And it's a shame. It's
Well, we're
damn
going to have
disgrace.
to come to a point where if we don't do anything, then we're going to get kickback. Seriously, people not being able to afford housing, but having to have to take care of their family. Then what happens?
Right.
You know, if we don't do anything now, there's going to be some repercussions later. When we come back from break, we're going to chop it up a little bit more about this because I think this is so interesting. I wanted to hear your point of view. When we come back, I want us to interact a little bit because I know there's a vision that was put in the mind of the bishop here, and it just seems like we're all having the same mindset. So.
Saturday. I just wanted to come on and make this video. I did an interview last week with Bridging the Gap with David James, which is one of my favorite PAC 14 shows because they actually seek out truth and try to find out answers that actually are surrounded by truth rather than just making up their own narrative. But there was a segment that was done on the show that talked about the Compensation and Allowance Commission. And I think that there are some misconceptions about what my concerns are with this commission. The first thing that I want to say is thank you. Thank you to the volunteers who have, literally volunteered their time to come out meeting after meeting to put together this package deal of what the executive salary should be, the council salary, and of course now they're working on the sheriff's salary. And I'm grateful for those volunteers. And I think for the most part that everyone has done a phenomenal job. And I want to give a big shout out to the chair because she has really done a great job at keeping everybody on track. But what I was concerned about is the process on how the individuals were chosen. So we have a specific process that is followed in our county per our charter that all commissions, all boards and commissions are done by executive appointment and council confirmation. And for some reason, this board was not done this way. So I am more concerned about process. Now, I will tell you, the work is not going to go in vain. We are very grateful for everything that they've done. But I will tell you that type of choosing of individuals is not going to happen again. So we are going to follow the process. We are going to follow the charter. But again, that does not take away anything that these people have done. I am forever grateful for anybody who decides to volunteer for any board. And so I just wanted to put that out there that again, I commend the board for the work that they've done. They've worked really, really hard, but we need to do better when it comes to process. And so I will make sure that process is followed the next time that this happens. So again, thank you to all the volunteers, regardless of who you are. We are very grateful for you. But like I said, we do need to work on our process and make sure that we are following the charter as we choose people, to serve on our boards and commissions. So I just wanted to come on and say that. And I'm hoping that Bridging the Gap will just add this to the video. That way that people can see the disclaimer. So again, I am not upset with the people on the board. They have worked hard. Thank you for volunteering your time. But we do need to do better when it comes to process. And I'll see you soon.